9 young hikers set out on a winter expedition. That should have taken only a few weeks. Every one of them was experienced. Every one of them knew how to survive in some of the harshest conditions on Earth. Yet none of them would ever return. Weeks later, rescuers arrived at their abandoned campsite deep in the frozen Ural Mountains. What they found there defied logic and sparked one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in modern history. This is the story of the Dyatlov Pass Incident. The expedition was led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, an engineering student and highly respected mountaineer. Alongside him were 8 fellow hikers, each trained, experienced, and prepared for a difficult winter journey through the Soviet wilderness. Their destination lay across the remote northern Ural Mountains, a demanding route that promised adventure but carried serious risks. Still, the group was confident. They had completed challenging expeditions before, and there was little reason to believe this trip would be any different. In late January 1959, the hikers left the last inhabited village behind and disappeared into a world of endless snow, freezing temperatures, and towering mountains before departing. Igor assured his family that he would send a telegram as soon as the expedition was complete. Days passed, then another week. No message arrived at first. No one panicked. Delays were common during winter expeditions. But as more time passed without any word, concern quickly turned into fear. Finally, volunteers, students, soldiers, and experienced rescuers organized a search mission. After several days of searching, the rescue teams reached the eastern slope of Kholat Syakhl. In the language of the local Mansi people, the mountain's name carries an unsettling meaning. Det Mountain. It was here, exposed to the freezing winds instead of sheltered by the nearby forest, that the hikers had pitched their tent on what would become their final night. As darkness fell, the weather grew increasingly violent. Powerful winds swept across the mountainside. Temperatures plunged far below freezing. Then, something happened inside that tent dotter. Something terrifying enough to make 9 experienced hikers abandon everything they owned and run into the darkness. No one knows exactly what happened that night, but what rescuers would discover next would only deepen the mystery. By the time rescuers finally reached the campsite, the scene before them made no sense. The tent was still standing, partially buried beneath the snow. Inside, they found backpacks, cameras, food, warm clothing, and nearly all of the hikers' personal belongings. It looked as though the group had left in an incredible hurry. Then, investigators noticed something even more disturbing. The tent had not been opened through its entrance. Instead, it had been slashed open from the inside. The evidence suggested that the hikers had cut their way out of the tent and fled into the freezing night. Even more shocking, Many of them appeared to have left wearing little more than their underwear, socks, or thin layers of clothing. Their boots remained inside. Their heavy winter jackets were untouched. Their food and survival equipment had been left behind. For experienced mountaineers, this made almost no sense. Whatever drove them out seemed far more terrifying than the deadly cold waiting outside. Investigators soon discovered a single trail of footprints leading away from the tent. The prints stretched down the mountainside toward the forest nearly a mile away. Surprisingly, there were no signs of panic. The footprints showed that the hikers had walked rather than run. There were no signs of a struggle, no evidence that another group had been there. Only one quiet trail disappearing into the darkness. Following the footprints, rescuers eventually reached the edge of a dense forest. Beneath a towering cedar tree, they made the first heartbreaking discovery. 2 members of the expedition lay frozen to death beside the remains of a small campfire. They were barefoot, dressed only in light clothing. It was clear they had desperately tried to stay warm, but against the brutal winter of the Ural Mountains, they never stood a chance. The mystery was only beginning. If the first 2 hikers had died near the fire, where were the other 7? And what had forced every member of the group to leave the safety of their tent in the middle of one of the coldest nights imaginable? The search continued, and what investigators uncovered next would make the case even more impossible to explain. Over the following days, search teams uncovered 3 more bodies scattered across the snowy mountainside. They lay between the cedar tree and the abandoned tent. Their positions suggested one heartbreaking possibility. After reaching the forest, some of the hikers had attempted to fight their way back to the campsite, step by step, meter by meter. But the freezing temperatures overwhelmed them. Before they could reach the safety of the tent, weeks turned into months. Winter slowly loosened its grip on the mountains, and as the snow began to melt, rescuers returned to continue the search. Inside a deep ravine hidden beneath several feet of snow, they finally found the remaining 4 hikers. But this discovery raised even more questions than answers. Several of the victims had suffered catastrophic internal injuries, broken ribs, severe skull fractures, injuries so powerful that medical experts later compared them to those seen in high-speed car crashes. Yet there was almost no visible damage to their skin, no signs of a violent fight, no evidence of weapons. It was as if an enormous force had crushed them, without leaving obvious external wounds. Even stranger, one victim was missing her tongue. Another was missing parts of her eyes to this day. Investigators continue to debate how those injuries occurred. The mystery deepened further inside the laboratory when forensic experts examined the victim's clothing. They detected unusual levels of radioactive contamination on several garments. Not every piece of clothing was affected, only a few. Although scientists have proposed several possible explanations over the years, no single answer has ever fully explained why radioactive material was found on members of the expedition. Months later, Soviet authorities officially closed the investigation. Their conclusion stunned everyone. The hikers, they claimed, had died because of an unknown compelling force. No further explanation. No identified cause. No one held responsible. With that, the case was closed. But for millions of people around the world, the mystery had only just begun. For more than 60 years, investigators, scientists, and independent researchers have searched for an explanation. Dozens of theories have been proposed, but none of them answers every question. The most widely accepted explanation is the snow slab avalanche theory. According to this idea, a layer of unstable snow suddenly shifted above the tent during the night. Fearing a larger avalanche, the hikers cut their way out of the tent and rushed downslope, expecting to return once the danger had passed. But in the darkness, and in temperatures dropping below -30 degrees Celsius, they quickly became separated, disoriented, and trapped by the cold. In 2021, computer simulations and modern snow research suggested that a delayed snow slab avalanche could explain part of what happened. Yet many researchers remain unconvinced. The slope where the tent stood was relatively gentle. The tent itself was still largely intact, and the footprints remained clearly visible in the snow. If an avalanche truly occurred, why did it leave so little evidence? Another theory points toward a secret Soviet military experiment. Several witnesses reported seeing strange, glowing lights over the Ural Mountains around the same time. The discovery of radioactive contamination on some of the hikers' clothing only fueled the speculation. Some believe the group accidentally wandered into the testing area of classified military weapons. However, despite decades of investigation, no official records have ever confirmed that such an experiment caused the tragedy. A third explanation is based on science rather than conspiracy. Some researchers believe powerful winds flowing around the mountain created infrasound, extremely low-frequency sound waves that humans cannot consciously hear. Under certain conditions, these waves may cause anxiety, panic, dizziness, and intense feelings of fear. According to this theory, the hikers may have fled the tent in a state of panic, only realizing their mistake after they were already trapped in the freezing wilderness. Although the idea is scientifically possible, there is still no direct evidence proving that infrasound caused the incident. Then there are the stories that captured the public imagination. Some blame mysterious creatures. Others point to extraterrestrials. Local legends even speak of ancient spirits guarding the mountain. These theories continue to circulate across the internet. But despite their popularity, no credible evidence has ever supported any paranormal explanation. So after decades of investigations, one question still remains. If none of these theories fully explains what happened, then what really happened on that mountain? More than 6 decades have passed since that frozen winter night. During that time, technology has advanced beyond anything the original investigators could have imagined. Satellite imagery, computer simulations, digital terrain analysis, modern forensic science. Researchers have revisited the evidence again and again, hoping that new tools might finally reveal the truth. Some old theories have become less convincing. Others have gained new support. Yet no explanation has managed to answer every question. The mystery isn't built around a single strange event. It's built around dozens of them. Why did 9 experienced hikers suddenly abandon the safety of their tent? Why did they leave behind their boots, heavy coats, and essential survival equipment? Why did they walk into one of the coldest nights of the year with almost nothing to protect them? The questions become even more disturbing. Why were some of the hikers found nearly a mile from the campsite? Why did several appear to have tried returning to the tent? What caused the devastating internal injuries that resembled the impact of a high-speed collision? And why was radioactive contamination found on only some of their clothing? Each answer seems to create another mystery. Even the official conclusion remains one of the strangest ever written. Instead of identifying a clear cause, investigators simply stated that the group had died because of an unknown, compelling force. Those four words have fueled debate for generations. Scientists, historians, mountaineers, detectives, and millions of ordinary people around the world continue searching for the missing piece of the puzzle. Perhaps the truth was buried beneath the snow before rescuers ever arrived. Perhaps crucial evidence disappeared with time. Or perhaps the mountain still holds a secret that no investigation has ever uncovered. And that brings us to one final question. Will the Dyatlov Pass incident ever truly be solved? Perhaps one day, a forgotten document will be uncovered. Perhaps new technology will reveal a clue that investigators missed decades ago. Or perhaps the truth disappeared forever beneath the frozen snow of the Ural Mountains. For now, no one can say with certainty what happened during those final hours on the night of February 1st, 1959. 9 experienced hikers entered the mountains together. Not a single one returned alive. The Dyatlov Pass Incident has become more than just a historical mystery. It has become a symbol of the questions that refuse to be answered. Every year, new researchers examine the evidence. New documentaries are released. New theories appear, yet the mountain remains silent. Was it a natural disaster? A tragic chain of human decisions? A classified military event? Or something we still don't fully understand? Each theory explains part of the story, but none explains all of it. And until every question has an answer, the mystery lives on. Now we'd love to hear from you. What do you believe happened on that freezing winter night? Was it simply a tragic accident? Or is there still an important piece of the story waiting to be discovered? Share your theory in the comments. And if you enjoy true mysteries, forgotten history, and unexplained events, be sure to subscribe to Storyverse English for more stories that challenge what we think we know. Because sometimes the most terrifying mysteries are the ones that really happened. Now we'd love to hear from you. What do you think really happened on that freezing winter night? Was it a tragic accident? A secret military experiment? Or something we'll never truly understand? Share your theory in the comments below. And if you enjoy true mysteries, forgotten history, and unexplained events, subscribe to Storyverse English and join us for another journey into the unknown. Because some mysteries are never meant to be forgotten. Storyverse English, where every story has a mystery.